Call 800-630-2167. That's 800-630-2167 today.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show nationwide on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I thank you for joining me today. My guest is Greg Hanley, and we're talking about addiction, drugs, alcohol, all the things that are plaguing our kids. Cindy Laverty Show is brought to you by Laverty Cafe in Sherman Oaks and Woodland Hills. Father's Day is coming up, so make a reservation at Laverty if you want to have an absolutely delightful time. Staff is great. Service is great. Food is yummy. Perfect place to go. Greg Hanley, thanks so much for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you. I think you should go to Laverty and take a break.
Yeah, it would be nice. Keep listening to the commercial thing, and I want to go there.
You should. Really good food. Okay, so we're talking about parents drug testing. Now, I want to know, because, you know, our kids go to school and they prepare for college and they go off to college. What's going on college campuses that we should know about? I think a lot of things are not being talked about.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a dirty secret. And again, people are hoping that people are going to outgrow things. And I do crisis management for a very predominant university here locally. Mm-hmm. And I was astounded to find out what was going on, how many emergency room visits happen on a weekend, how many times the ambulance is showing up at the universities. And it's pretty much, I can tell when I'm getting a phone call from a certain area or there's somebody that's calling, I'm pretty much 99% right on point of what's going on with them. So if I get a call from a university, what I generally have is a combination of somebody who's on Adderall, Klonopin, and alcohol, and pot.
Okay, well, say what those first two things are, because there's probably some of us like me who don't even know.
Adderall
is
it's prescribed for attention deficit disorder. And basically, it's a form of pure speed. It's for a better way to put it, and it's probably the most abused drug next to alcohol and pot in a university setting.
Really,
and kids can get it very easily. They sell it. They use it to stay awake for tests. It's kind of like what in the university. In the universities these days, kids are using kind of like what they used to do 20 or 30 years ago with, with like just white crosses or uppers or something like that. And and what happens is that, and these medications taken for, and the thing about it is kids are smart, so they know how to talk their way into getting medications they want.
Right.
And these medications for people who have specific things that are going on, used properly, are certainly wonderful. But what happens is that the abuse of it and how easy it is to get it prescribed to you, and what it's used for becomes a whole different thing. So the kids start taking it too much. They're selling it to each other. And then they can't get to sleep, so they'll go in and say, I have a sleep problem, and they'll get prescribed a Klonopin or Xanax or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
And what they don't know is that the half-life on these some of these medications, like on a benzodiazepine, which is a Klonopin or Xanax or something like that, it can be as long as 18 days. And so what they don't realize, and they're just little small pills, so they got studying for a bunch of exams. They take a bunch of Adderall, stay up for way too long. Then they go and take some Klonopin. They can't get to sleep, so they take some more. Then they go on and drink some alcohol. And what goes on is that they're adding these day by day. The medications are adding up that are still in their system. It doesn't just leave their system in a day or two. And then all of a sudden they cross that line, and they don't wake up, or they end up in the emergency room, or they have an overdose, combination of things. And when you hear these celebrities that they find dead in an apartment
Right,
or
right.
In a place, it's always a combination of certain things. You know, if they're not like a heroin addict or something like that, especially when you have the opiates that are involved, somebody that's taken opiates and benzodiazepines and alcohol, it's lethal. Yeah, they just literally don't wake up.
And somehow we glamorize this in our society. You know, we just don't know what happened to this brilliant, fabulous actor who ended up dead in their bed, but it was just a combination of all of these different drugs in their body, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Greg, when we come back from break, I got to
to
take a hard break right now, but when we come back, I want to talk about how SOBA is different and some of the therapies that you do, because you have a holistic approach to this that's unique. So stay with us. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own